Well, good morning, beloveds. My name is Reverend Dr. David Goldberg, and we are Unity on the Avenue. Welcome, whether you're joining us in our sanctuary today, outside on our beautiful labyrinth, or online, whether around the country or around the world. You are a part of this community, and you are the reason we do what we do. So thank you. Thank you so much for being with us. It's our great joy and honor to come together in community. And here at Unity on the Avenue, we are a radically inclusive community. We welcome all people. We honor all relational orientations and all faith traditions, because we know that it simply isn't possible for anyone or anything to be apart or separate from the one, that one power, that one presence that I choose to call God and goes by so many names. So, just a couple of announcements this morning. Our book group is going great guns online. Reverend Elizabeth Longo is facilitating the journey around Eye of the Storm and helping us through this phase of transition. And she tells me that there's still room if you'd like to join in. We're halfway through. The book is a great book. It's an easy read, and you're welcome to join us. That's Wednesday at 6 p.m. Mountain. Visit our website, unityontheavenue.org. And it is on a love offering basis, so we gratefully accept whatever you would choose to offer for a way of being in the flow as we speak about adventures in abundance during this beautiful month of October. And immediately thereafter, on Sunday, November 1st, Reverend Dr. Roger Teal is offering his wonderful course, Bridges to Breakthrough. Now, Dr. Roger has been a minister. He recently retired after almost 40 years in the pulpit. He is a teacher. He is a spiritual leader. He's a founding member with Dr. Michael Bernard Beckwith of the Association for Global New Thought. And we're so honored that Dr. Roger is offering this class for our community. So please, again, go online, unityontheavenue.org, Bridges to Breakthrough, Sunday, November 1st, and that's going to be at high noon Mountain Time. So for those of you who may not have been with us previously, as I shared, for this month of October, we are exploring adventures in abundance and prosperity and what that looks like to us in all forms, and what does that mean, and are we open to receive all of the good that the universe has in store for us? So we started our first week talking about courage. Do we have the courage to receive? And we worked with the metaphor of the cowardly lion. Last week, we spoke about brains and the scarecrow. Do we have the brains, the knowledge, the wisdom to be able to be in that space, to think about what we want, how we co-create our life with the divine, and what are we calling in? What are we consciously thinking about? And so that leaves us this week with heart. And we'll be speaking about the Tin Man, and do we have the heart and the intuition and the consciousness to be open to all that God has in store for our good? And before we get there, then, next week, we're going to have a special guest speaker. He is an extraordinary human. He brings such great light to the planet. He is an internationally renowned psychic, magical life coach, magician. He does a little bit of everything. He actually opened, for those of us of a certain age, our guest, Rick Finbow, opened the MGM Grand as a magician. So he does magic, he does illusion, he does spiritual work. And it's going to be a great joy and an honor to have Rick with us next week as he brings it all home for us with his talk, The Magic of Oz. Please welcome my husband, my beloved, my life partner, Rick Finbow.
Thank you. The Wizard of Oz is one of my favorite classical movies. And we remember that Dorothy, she lived in Kansas, much to her dismay. And she was always looking for things outside of herself to bring her happiness. but she felt like she lived in a black and white world. If you remember, The Wizard of Oz was first started in monochrome or black and white. And then she even sang about living over the rainbow. So when she did go over the rainbow, she found that she didn't like Oz as much. She found that her heart was where her home was. So she always wanted to go home. And when she did, even Kansas looked colorful. When she arrived back home, everyone was there to meet her, including her sidekick, Toto. Remember, there's no place like home. So come to see me in the sanctuary, Saturday the 24th at 10 a.m., and also watch me online virtually on Sunday at 10 a.m. Thank you.
Excellent. So please do join us next week as Rick brings us the magic of Oz. You know, everything we do here at Unity on the Avenue is grounded in prayer. Whether it is our Sunday service, our music, our outreach in the community, the order of our service, the work that we do, we first go to spirit. We first go within. So please, if prayer is calling you today, please reach out and let us support you on your journey. Whether you're in a place of celebration or a place of challenge, the one power, the one presence is in, around, and through it all. And it would be my honor and the honor of our chaplain prayer partners to pray with you and support you on your journey. So please join with me in our statement of faith. There is only one power and presence in the universe and in my life, God the good, omnipotent. Beautiful just to feel into that and know that is my truth and your truth and our truth. And please welcome one of our magnificent chaplain prayer partners, Heidi Huschen.
I love The Wizard of Oz. And today we're speaking about heart. I love the Tin Man too. He's one of my favorites. And I know that a minute ago, we talked a little bit about receiving all the goodness that Spirit has in store for us. So I wanted to share a prayer from one of my favorite authors, Tosha Silver, from Change Me Prayers. Receiving. Please change me, Divine Beloved, into one who can feel wildly open to receiving. Let me know my own value, beauty, and worthiness without question. Let me allow others the supreme pleasure of giving to me. Let me feel worthy to receive in every possible way. Change me into one who can fully love, forgive, and accept myself, so I may carry your light without restriction. Let everything that needs to go, go. Let everything that needs to come, come. Divine Beloved, I am utterly your own. You are me, I am you, we are one, all is well.
This is an original song called Heart's Desire.
Is it that my heart truly desires? What journey can I take that will light my soul on fire? What pathways yet to tread? What words yet to be said? What hand to hold, what heart to mold, what music yet to sing? What is it that my heart truly desires? What pathway will I I take, my soul's destiny make. What freedom's yet to fly, what skyways not too high, what love to share, what joys to dare are mine. The answer lies within my golden dreams, where things are not the same as they may seem. Finding joie de vivre streaming through my veins, creative juices flowing free, realizing I can be the creator of my own reality. What is it that your heart truly desires? What journey can you make that will set your soul on fire? Just follow your true self and see your life within God's eyes. Create the world you want. Create your life within your heart's desire.
Oh my goodness, original music for a weekend service. Does it get any better? Pamela Wang, music director, thank you for sharing your gifts. Gregg, Mailyn, Ken, thank you. Heidi, everyone who is a part of our service team, everybody who works so diligently to bring you these services every week. What a joy it is for me to come to work, to be in service with these amazing beings. So as I shared a little bit earlier, we're exploring adventures in abundance and what that looks like, and we're redefining prosperity in the broadest possible terms. You know, of course it's okay to talk about money in church because money is God in action. And we're looking at all other definitions of prosperity and abundance with friends, with family, with resources, living in a beautiful place wherever it is that you live. I bless you in that experience, and you are prosperous and abundant in that. And so when we were thinking about prosperity and abundance, we thought what a great metaphor it is to be on the yellow brick road. And so as we've been unpacking the metaphors of the Wizard of Oz over the past few weeks, we have shared that when Frank Baum originally wrote the story in 1900 at the turn of the last century, part of what he was trying to explore was to capture where America was at then. So Dorothy was really representative of the every person, of middle America, of strong stock, and the Cowardly Lion was representative of a group of people as well as a specific individual. So the Cowardly Lion was about populism and about people having a voice and participating in the process. And he actually specifically represented William Jennings Bryan, who was a Democratic candidate for president at the turn of the last century in 1896 and 1900. And Bryan, Lion, I don't know, maybe there's some similarity there, and maybe we're working too hard on it. And last week, we spoke about the scarecrow, and the scarecrow represents or represented American agriculture. And the thought at the time, wrong as it may be, that farmers just weren't very smart. So that's why the scarecrow was always looking for a brain. And today then, we explore the metaphor of the Tin Man. And the Tin Man, it is said, as Dorothy found out from knocking on his chest, didn't have a heart. So let's be in that space a little bit. We also talked a little bit about the yellow brick road, and perhaps that was analogous to America being on the gold standard. And in the original book, Dorothy had silver slippers. It wasn't until 40 years later, in the amazing introduction of Technicolor, that the studio wizards wanted you to see how good they really were, and they made her shoes red. So there was the whole conversation about the gold standard and the silver standard, and then of course going to the Emerald City, the color of money, and so forth. So all kinds of stuff that we can dive into. So with regard to the specific characters then, and who were cast in those roles, we talked about how in the original cast, the fellow who played the Cowardly Lion was not happy with his original role, so he wanted to be recast as the Cowardly Lion. And then the person who was cast as the Cowardly Lion, Buddy Ebsen, of the Beverly Hillbillies fame, was moved and recast as the Tin Man. Well, when they started filming, they kept going through all of these different iterations and maturations of how could they make him look like a real Tin Man. Now, I don't exactly know what that standard is, what a real Tin Man looks like, but they tried adding aluminum to his makeup, and Buddy Ebsen actually ended up in the hospital, and he darn near died because of the makeup that was applied to his face with aluminum in it, and therefore he was removed from the role of the Tin Man. So it just wasn't in the cards for Buddy Ebsen to be a part of the original cast of The Wizard of Oz. And so the Tin Man was then cast by a vaudevillian actor and dancer and singer named Jack Haley. And Jack Haley came in and did a great job with the role. And indeed, Dorothy in the film says that the Tin Man is the character that she will miss the most. So what of the Tin Man then? What do we know about the Tin Man? Well, the Tin Man actually started off as a human. He was a living, breathing human being like all of us. And he fell in love with a Munchkin girl who happened to be a servant to the Wicked Witch. And they were going to get married and move off and live happily ever after. And the Wicked Witch wasn't going to have any of that. She didn't want to have this person who was serving her so well go away. So she put a spell on the woodsman, and specifically on his axe. So the woodsman's axe was cutting off his limbs. And so every time one of his limbs was removed, it was replaced with tin. I know, a great story for a weekend morning. And so as his arm was cut off or his legs were cut off, they were replaced with tin. That's how he became the Tin Man. And as his limbs were replaced, then his heart was never replaced. Again, with Dorothy knocking on his chest when she first finds him to say, no heart? And no, he did not have a heart. So when she first finds him then, the Tin Man had been in the forest for a year, and he had just rested, and he was just hanging out there all by himself. So the first thing that Dorothy does then is find an oil can to help him to lubricate his joints, to help bring him back, if you will. The first thing Dorothy lubricates is his mouth so he can speak. The second thing she lubricates are his arms so that he can move. And the third thing that Dorothy lubricates and helps the Tin Man with are his eyes. So she lubricates his eyes so that he can see and see what he has been missing and come back to life in that regard. So the invitation then, my friends, with the Tin Man, as he continues to show up for Dorothy and everybody else in the cast, including Toto, is that he's seeking something outside of himself. The spiritual lesson, the spiritual invitation is that he thinks he needs a heart to be able to feel. And yet, he's the one that's always showing up. He's the one that's always coming from a place of kindness. He's the one who is always speaking from deeper, from being more grounded and speaking from deeper within. So what does that mean for us? I think we can look at the exploration of, rather than seeking something outside of ourselves, we know as metaphysicians that everything starts from within. So what if the Tin Man was seeking something that he already had? He already had a heart. He just needed the self-confidence to know how to work with that heart that he already had. So that's the invitation for you, not only with the Tin Man, but with all of the characters that we've been exploring in The Wizard of Oz. The Cowardly Lion was continually showing up in courage. The Scarecrow was continually using his knowledge and wisdom to help his friends advance and to get to the land of Oz. So too with the Tin Man. He didn't need it, he had it. He just didn't know he had it. So what does that look like then as we step into that place of heart? Well, I would suggest 5 spiritual ideas, 5 God qualities for you today to be with this week and to explore. The first piece I invite you into, the first quality, is that of harmony. Now, I don't know if you're familiar with the school of thought called voice dialogue. It's a very powerful tool, and I've been fortunate enough to work with some of the founders, Hal and Sidra Stone and Tamara Stone, as well as a number of excellent practitioners. And what voice dialogue holds is that we all have different voices within us, if you will. And so we all have all of these different characters or archetypes, and the main one is the conductor. So when we explore harmony, when we explore being in that musical analogy, the conductor is the one, of course, who is leading the orchestra or leading the band. So too within each of us individually. With our beautiful music team, we have a melody line, and we have a harmony line, and we have strings, and we have percussion, and there are different things coming in at different times. Now, absolutely, sometimes it's beautiful to experience a solo experience, whether vocally or instrumentally, and the beauty and the majesty and the magnificence that is an orchestra, with the harmony, with the melody, with the different movements, with different musicians coming in and going out and playing on top of each other. And to be sure, there is a certain amount of tension in there, right? There is tension within harmony. And isn't that an interesting oxymoron? That as we seek harmony, I also invite us into that place of being willing to accept the tension that comes with harmony and work through that. So first, that place of harmony within ourselves, within all of our relationships, with everybody with whom we're interacting and talking to and about. Second, then, I invite you to consider the spiritual aspect, the God quality that is empathy. And I think we know the difference that we're exploring, or we continue to be in that place of not really sympathy, but empathy. It's a very different quality. Sympathy says, I feel sorry for you for what you are experiencing. Empathy says, I may not know exactly what you're feeling, but I'm trying to be in that space with you. So be in that place of empathy with ourselves. We can hold diverging and sometimes conflicting views within ourselves. And 2, we get to hold that space within our community. Whether it is all of our conversations now, political or race relations or fill in the blank, right? Nobody is a single vote or a single voice individual. We are all these nuanced creatures and characters, and that is where the invitation for empathy lies. And third is the perspective of appreciation or gratitude. You know, it's been said, and we've all heard it, if I say nothing more than thank you, that's enough. So this day, my friends, this day, this week, I invite you into appreciation. I invite you to say thank you to those in your life for the big, for the small, for the nuanced, for the powerful, for the challenges. We know that gratitude is so powerful, that appreciation is so extraordinarily important in our lives. And I just invite you to be a bit more conscious of that in your work this week and this day. The fourth perspective that I'd invite you to consider is that of rest, right? Even when creating heaven and earth, there was a day of rest. Now, I know that you're very busy. I know that you're very important. I know that your life has so many different moving aspects. And we turn off our computers. We turn off our phones. Let us turn off our brains and show up and rest and be. Again, we know that we are human beings, not human doings. So many of us are so good at doing. We create a list, we do a list, we check it off, we get it done, we move it forward, we're going. And it's not only okay, it's necessary, it's important to be in that place of rest. So what is your day of rest? What is your Sabbath day? What is your Sabbath moment? Is it a hot beverage in the morning? Is it a walk outside? Is it that moment on your pillow before you get up or just before you fall asleep? It doesn't have to be a 24-hour period. Bless you if it can be, and I support you in moving toward that. And take what you can. Allow yourself to be. Allow yourself to rest. And then finally, I invite you into that God quality of trust. That is something that we as people of faith continue to step into, continue to lean into. We get to trust in someone, in something, and some ubiquitous power and presence that we can't see. We get to know at the core of our being who and what that is. And I'm not here to tell you who or what that is. I am here to tell you that whatever your perception of the divine, whatever your connection to your higher power, is perfect for you. And I invite you into deepening that relationship with the depth and the breadth and the expansion that comes with being that perfect child of the divine. So as we unpack our adventures in abundance, as we look at, do we have the heart to accept all that the universe has in store for us? I invite you into that acronym of harmony, empathy, appreciation, rest, and trust. And know, beloved, that you needn't seek heart or brains or courage outside of yourself. The one power, the one presence that created you and continues to dwell in you and express as you has provided you with everything that you need to co-create a magnificent human experience. You have the courage. You have the brains. You have the heart. It's a matter of recognizing it within yourself, loving yourself, blessing yourself, honoring yourself enough to say, yes, I am this whole, perfect, and complete being. And I choose to co-create a magnificent experience with the divine and show God a really good time as me. And finally then, our tip from Toto this week. I shall take the heart, for brains do not make one happy, and happiness is the best thing in the world. I shall take the heart. Please join me in meditation. What a joy it is to be in that place of being heart-centered with this beloved community, expressing in, through, and as beings in this sanctuary, in our beautiful outdoor space, online, in the United States and around the world. And we simply say thank you as we continue to come together, as we continue to connect, as we continue to know that heart connection. As we live that concept of namaste and we expand upon it to say the divinity in me blesses and recognizes the divinity and the heart in you. Because what I know to be true is that the heart is literally resonating at 10,000 times the energy of our human brains. So I know that we are in that space of making the connection between our human minds and our human hearts. And in turn, that we are absolutely connected in the heartbeat of Mother Earth, in the heartbeat of the universe, in the heartbeat of the planet, that it is good, that it is powerful, that it is grounding. And we just allow ourselves to be in that beauty, to bask in that goodness. And so what I know then is that every being who can hear my voice and beyond is prosperous and abundant beyond measure. I bless them in their definition, and I bless them in expanding that definition to create more room for more good, more relationship, more money, more connection, whatever it looks like, however defined. I know that it is beyond measure, that it is expansive, that it is powerful, that it is bold, that it is brilliant, and that it is perfect. Because there's no way that it can be anything but. So it is from this place of deep knowing and tremendous thanksgiving that I release. I let go, I release it into the amazing alchemy of love and logic that is the law, knowing that it is done before it was spoken, and that all is well. So I bless you, beloved, in your prosperity, in your abundance, in your growth. I bless our amazing Unity on the Avenue spiritual community as we continue to experience prosperity and abundance in so many ways, known and unknown. I simply say yes. I say yes. I say thank you, God. I say all is well. And please join me in grounding this as we say together, and so it is. Amen. And now it is our time to move into conscious giving. Speaking of being in the flow, speaking of being on the yellow brick road, speaking of being in prosperity and abundance. Oh my goodness, as I shared earlier, it is such a joy, such a work of heart to be able to connect with you every week in this way. We bless those in the sanctuary with us. We bless those joining us from our beautiful labyrinth outside. We bless those joining us online, because you see, God doesn't care whether you are in your bedroom or in a teepee or on a mountaintop or in a temple or in a church. It's all good because it's all God. And so we are so grateful to you for your gifts, for your tithes, for your offerings. Whatever the terminology you choose to use, we humbly say yes, please, and thank you. And so, for those of you who continue to give, who are regular supporters, thank you. Your ongoing support means the world to us, and we wouldn't be able to do what we do without you. For those of you who are joining us for the first time, thank you. and we honor you in your experience. If you choose to click on the donate button and give through our website, or mail us a check, or pop something in the mail, or give via text, or give via the app, we're trying to make it as easy as we can for you. And please know, however you give, whatever you give, we are grateful, and it is our strong intention to be powerful and strong stewards of your trust and your resources. For those of you in the sanctuary, we are not passing the basket in these interesting times. We do have baskets located at the front and the rear of the sanctuary. So thank you as well for your gifts and tithes to Unity on the Avenue. Please join me in the blessing of your generosity. Divine love, through me, blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. And again, thank you to our amazing music team for another outstanding service, and to my dear friend, Reverend Dr. David Alt, for writing that song. David is the former spiritual leader of the Center for Spiritual Living Atlanta, and has been an important part of my life for quite some time. He speaks, he writes, he sings, he acts on soap operas. Who knew? Thank you, David. Thank you for being a part of our service today. And I almost forgot, in honor of the Tin Man, in honor of speaking about heart, I wore my special heart socks today. Now, I won't tell you that the words on there say, tacos are my love language, But, that's a conversation for another day. So anyway, I want to reinforce once again, please go to our website, unityontheavenue.org. Register for Sunday, November 1st, 12 o'clock noon. Dr. Roger Teal, Breakthroughs. Yes, Bridges to Breakthroughs. It's going to be a powerful time. It's all online, so you can do it wherever you are now or wherever you would like to be. And as we do here at Unity on the Avenue, please join me in our prayer for peace. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is. Go in power. Go in peace.